All right, good evening and welcome to the Skill Up Show. My name is Maribel Chima, and today we are going to be talking about how we can skill up ourselves and skill up our children, dear parents. How we can help our children have quick wins through our small daily efforts. The topic is quick wins for children. How small daily support leads to learning gains in children. Education is not the filling up of the child like a pill, but it is lighting up something within the child, lighting up a fire in the child that makes the child curious. My name is Maribel Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. I am also the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens because we want to equip these ones. We want to help these ones get their wins. We want to position ourselves as parents in the life of these children who help and point these children to becoming everything that God has created them to be. How are you being an advantage to your child, dear parents? This is what we do. We partner with you in the mastermind circle so that you can become an advantage to your child. Education is that thing that is beyond what happens in the classroom. All right, it is what gives your child permission to look further. It gives them permission to seek deeper and to get answers. So if you are not, as a parent, if you're not visionary enough to spark your child up, that your child wants to look farther than what you are saying, wants to look farther than what everyone around them is saying, wants to look beyond what culture is saying, wants to seek deeper to get answers, then there is something that is lacking in your role as a parent. Okay, there's something that is lacking in your role as a parent if you have not positioned yourself to be that person who sparks your child so much that the child wants to, or the child is seeking for answers. The child wants to look far. The child wants to look beyond what is in front of them. And yes, the child wants to seek deeper so that the child can get answers. All right. A study, a Harvard Family Research Project, right? That study shows that, or emphasizes that, the significant impact of parental involvement in children cannot be overemphasized. It says that children perform better academically when they have their parents involved in their education. Children actually do better emotionally. They have better emotional regulations and strong sense of responsibility when they have their parents involved in their education. Children with involved parents are lifelong learners. They are lovers of learning. Children with involved parents are healthier, all right, and they're well adjusted individuals. So what are we saying? We are saying that the more involved you are as a parent, the more advantage your child is. Am I telling you to leave everything that you are doing and start a homeschool? No, that's not what I'm saying. If that is not your goal, or if that is not what it is that you have planned to do as a family. All right. If homeschool is your thing, or homeschooling is your thing, bravo. It gives your child all of the advantage that you bring to the table as a parent. I shared a post this earlier today, and I said in that post that children connect better with the people, children learn better with the people that they connect to. Children learn better when we can connect to their previous experiences, and children learn more effectively when they can relate to what, or when you can relate what you are teaching them to their everyday life. And I asked the question in that post, who better? I mean, who is better positioned to do this than a parent? The person who knows the child's past experiences and can connect their learning to those past experiences. The person who knows the child so much and the child can connect with the person emotionally, physically, in every way. All right, who can the child connect better with than the parents who has always been there for them? All right, now who can connect better to your child's can connect the child's learning better to their everyday, connect their learning to their everyday experiences or their everyday life better than you, the parents. So this is to say that there is no one, there is nobody that is better qualified to teach your child than you, dear parents. So, yes, whether your child is learning from a school, whether your child goes to a center, whatever or wherever else your child is learning from, do not take away the advantage or that you can give to them based on the natural privileges that you have as their parents. We are inviting you to harness all the superpower that you have been given by virtue of being their parents to help your child explode when it comes to learning and empowering them and making them the best versions of themselves. All right, so by now we should have established, if you know me and you've been following me, that you are your child's first, you are your child's number one, and you're your child's most important teacher. And every time I talk about you being a teacher, or every time I'm talking about your child getting educated, or every time I'm talking about your child learning, their parents, I'm not just talking about what they do in a classroom. I'm not just talking about their academic experience. I'm not talking about their academic education. It is just one part of education. Your child is getting educated to be a wholesome human being. So that education is not just academic. That education is spiritual. That education is socializing, right? It's social, education. That education is spiritual or faith, right? Or faith, right? That education is their beliefs, their ideology, their mindset. That education is self-management and home management. That education is the child building and developing leadership skills. That education is about the child knowing how to navigate through every aspect of life effectively. So no, it cannot just be about math, English, chemistry, and physics. It is much more than that. And so, yes, you may not be the best physics teacher. You may not even understand a thing about chemistry, but yet you can be your child's most significant teacher because there are so many other ways that you can teach your child that would ensure that the child does well in every other aspect of their life, even in their academics. Just because you have positioned yourself to harness or to use your superpower as a parent to help your child or to accelerate learning for your child. So, welcome to the show again. If you're catching the replay, let us know in the comments that you joined us and you are catching the replay of the session. If you're here right now, don't just be in the background. Join us and share with us in the comment section so that we know that we have you with us. Okay, I hear someone say, Goke says, I am my child's most significant teacher. Oh, yes, you are. If you are joining us, you have a friend who needs to be here. Why don't you tag them? If you're joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, tag them so that they can join the stream right now so we can have a conversation while we're talking. You can ask your questions, you can contribute while we are talking. And if you're on YouTube, why don't you share the link with somebody so that they can also join us? And while you're at it, remember to click on the notification button or to click on the subscription button first so that you can subscribe to the channel and be a part of this, and then click the notification so that you get notified every time we go live. Welcome to the show. All right, so let's move right into it and let's talk about ways that you can actually position yourself as a parent. All right, small ways that you can begin to support your child today. All right, we've heard many times, every time you come up with the whole parents need to support their children, parents need to teach their children, parents can do more than they think they can for their children. Parents will come back and say, oh no, I am busy, I have to make ends meet, and all of that. In my post today, I said, dear parents, I need you to say to yourself, I have time to support my child. I have time to support my child, because you sure have time to support your child. And sometimes all that it takes is as little as 30 minutes or 40 minutes. This is why we are putting together a challenge. All right, we're putting together a challenge. If you know me, if you follow me, then you would know that I am the queen of challenges. We are the queen. I mean, we got it locked in here when it comes to doing challenges and helping parents to show up and be present for their children. We know how to lock you in and get you on that in that place where you can support your children consistently, because we understand that consistency is a game changer. When you can do something consistently, right? First of all, it transforms your child, and then it puts you in that place where you understand or you realize that it really doesn't take that much. And more than any other thing, you get to bond with your child. You get to bond with your child, and there is nothing that is more important than you connecting with your child. I said at the beginning of this session that children learn more effectively. They learn in a more authentic way, or they learn in a happy and fun way when they can connect with the person that they are learning from. When they connect, then learning is not a chore anymore. Learning is play. Learning is fun. Remember, we have said many times, if you follow us on this in this group, we've said many times that play is the work of children. Play is the language of love for your child, is the language of learning for your child. So whenever you are teaching your child and the child can feel from inside that they are playing, then the child is learning more, because now the child is getting a sense of satisfaction from doing that activity. And that is how we get motivated, when we do something that we get a sense of satisfaction from. That is why you see athletes, people like Messi and Ronaldo, it's not about what the coach says. The coach does not need to motivate a Messi or a Ronaldo or all the football players and all of them out there. The coach does not need to motivate them. Yes, there is the expertise that the coach brings to the table. There is, the push that the coach gives them, when their morale is low. But as far as getting the work done and putting themselves out there, they don't need a coach. If you want to see this, go even to young children, right? Go to young children who have become passionate about sports. You realize that it is one area that you don't need to really motivate people who have developed their own passion for it. So if you have a child that says, oh, I like football or basketball or any of the sports, and you are the one dragging them and pulling them, Biko, free that child. The child is not into it. It is your thing. When you find children who are into sports and are passionate about it, they need no motivation at all. They are their own motivation. In fact, you will be the one that will have to be begging them to slow down. In fact, you have to put consequences for them to do other things, because in this area, there is a deep sense of satisfaction from the activity that they are doing. And so because of that, motivation rises on its own. And when we are motivated, when we understand the why, and the why brings a sense of fulfillment and joy and happiness and all of that, then you don't need anyone chasing you around to do it. All right, so that is the thing. And guess what, parents? We can get our children to this position with every other thing, not just sports, even with learning and, directing themselves, becoming in every area, even in raising them and directing them to create impact. We can do all of that, right? Only if we know how to go about it. And that's why we are here. And that's why we do the challenges that we do. Because with those challenges, we help you understand the why. We help the child understand the why. And then we keep you there and we give you fun ways, right? If you were a part of our summer fun activity book challenge, well, we kept children glued to activities for 30 straight days. 30 straight days, parents had fun, the children had fun. I didn't say for 3 days, I didn't say for 3 weeks, I said for 30 straight days. We had parents and their children doing activities, and they had fun from the beginning to the end. Dear parents, there is a way to do these things. It's just that we do not want to commit ourselves, or we do not know how to go about it. And that's why we invite you. When we say we have a challenge, if you are parent of a child between 1 and 10, jump in immediately. Because you know something, our challenges are usually fun. Our challenges require short time, or of short brief time for you to get it done daily. All right, so that's what we do. We make it short, daily, so that it's the compounding effect of 30, 20, 14 days, rather than you staying there doing something for long and getting tired and getting bored. All right, so it's fun activities, short period, you lock it in there, and by the time you're done, the child wants more, because the goal is to get your children to get a sense of satisfaction and a longing, anticipation, and all of that. That's what we did with the book challenge. We got the children, we've done it for 3 straight years. We get the children anticipating. At the beginning of every day, they're asking, what's next? Anticipation actually brings a sense of commitment, brings a sense of passion and commitment to whatever it is that we're doing. All right, so we are strategic about these things. So when we say we have a challenge, jump in, because our challenges are strategic, our challenges are fun, our challenges are consistent, and then of course our challenges will help you and the child bond and get the children in that space where the children want to do it willingly and not forcefully. All right, so let's look at some of these things. So the challenge is coming up in the next 2 weeks, thereabouts. All right, so just get set. The flyer will be out soon, and as soon as it comes in, jump in if you have children between 1 and 10. And this challenge, our challenges are usually affordable, so don't worry, they're not usually expensive, they're affordable. They can't even buy you meat pie. Sometimes maybe one meat pie, maybe 2 meat pie, with the way things are. All right, so it's usually very affordable. So you can just make a commitment, jump in, be a part of the challenge, and get this skill locked in and get your child in that space. All right. So yes, let's go straight into little things that you can do. Number one thing that you can do to help you, small efforts, and yet your children can begin to win because of that effort, is set small achievable goals for your children. All right, so when you as a parent, okay, let's not go there, let's go first to establish routines. Let's start with that. Establish routines, traditions. Why am I sweating when I have this here? Sorry, I was trying to get the airing system, more. All right, so the first thing you want to do is set routines, set traditions, use routines, traditions, right, to introduce a system where you can support your child. Now, for you as a busy parent, you don't have time and all of that. Now, what you want to do is set the routine for the time that you will be available to support the child. Now, let that routine cover the time that you will be available. Remember, we are in that space, and I know that you are a busy parent. This is especially for you, that parent who hasn't been able to find the time because you are very busy. We don't want to trivialize the fact that you are very busy, but we know that whatever is important to you, you will make time for. All right, so we want to help you get into making, starting somewhere by creating that 30 minutes, okay, and 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Let's start there. All right, so in the challenge, all you will need is 45 minutes. So it's a 45 minutes daily challenge. That's what we want to do. So let's start with the 30 minutes, the 40 minutes, and I promise you, as you get into this, before you know it, you will create more time for your children. But what I am saying, dear parents, is if you can give your child 30 minutes of your time every day, I promise you, you will transform. You can transform a child, and you can build a solid relationship with your child with just 30 minutes per day. All right, I'm going to be teaching you this. All right, we're going to be talking about this in the next few weeks, and we don't leave it at just talking. In the challenge, we are going to be doing it. Okay, so that's what we're known for. We don't just say it, we do it, because we know sometimes parents know these things, they have this information. It's just how to go about it that is the challenge. So we will be doing it together. All right. So number one is set those challenge. I mean, set those timing, and that time could just simply be, okay, we're going to meet. When I come in, it would be the after 15 minutes of me resting, or 20 minutes, then we will have 5 minutes. It could, I mean, sorry, we can have 30 minutes. The 30 minutes can be a fixed time, okay, and that fixed time can be from 8:30 to 9 o'clock before your children go to bed. So it could be before bedtime. All right, so just look at your dynamics and see what works for you and fix that time, all right, for this activity. All right, I'm going to be sharing other opportunities that you can use or you can have to fix that time for your child. I had to close this place because the noise from the gen was too much, but I'm hot and there's something that is, all right, don't worry, let's just move in. It's not about me, right? For now, let's just move on. All right, so do that or establish that and then make this a tradition. Do you know that even for you who is a parent who is away, okay, you are a parent who is away, you can actually create a tradition where even where you are offshore, I mean onshore, or wherever it is that you stay away from your children, you can create a tradition for when you are not home, such that your children anticipate that time. All right, I know one of my someone I respect very much, that says it doesn't matter whether he's in town or not in town. He prays for his children every day. He's prayed for his children every day since they were born. And so even when he is not in town, all the children do is get up in the morning, sort themselves. As soon as they sort themselves, and then they call him. Immediately you're ready, you call him, and then he blesses you whether or not he is in town. All right. So technology has done so much for us. And so we want to take advantage of it and use it, in creating this system of connection with our children, where our small effort is leading our children to winning. So create that tradition, establish your routines, put it somewhere in the routine. It could just be the 30 minutes before bedtime. All right, so it could be 8 o'clock. So you come in at 7:30, you rest for about 30 minutes, and then you do something with your child from 8 o'clock to 8:30 before they go to bed. And that becomes a routine. It becomes what they look forward to. Our daughter is 9 years old. Until this day, when our daughter is winding up for the day, you will see her with a book in her hand. I've told the story. You see her with a book in her hand, and she's walking to me or walking to daddy, and she's saying, "Can you read me my bedtime story?" At 9, she still wants her bedtime story. That is because this is the tradition that she's had all her life. This is a tradition that she's known all her life. And so it has become a part of her. Today, our daughter will pick any book, any genre of book, I promise you. She would read fiction, she would read non-fiction, she would read all kinds of books, right? And then she's at that point where she can actually review and say, I like this book, I don't like this book for this reason, for that reason, I don't like the character, I don't like the language, I don't like, because books have become a part of her, right? We've done this for the longest time. So very, very key. Number 2, I said, set small achievable goals. So you can set goals together, all right? You can do small projects with your children and then set those small goals together. This is what we do all of these things I'm talking about here is also, are the same things that we do with the children in the mastermind circle. We connect with these children also in the mastermind circle, and then we go through all of this. It's the mastermind circle is their big family, is their big, is a bigger family or a bigger tribe that we have with the children, and we use the same principles with the children. So imagine this: you're working with your child, we're working with the child, creating the same, working with the same strategies, and principles and all of that, and you tell me that that child will not win. It's double barrel. Our children win back to back because they have the support of their parents, who, by the way, are partnering with us, and then they have us. Do you know, from what we do in the mastermind, you can even use what we do in the mastermind to create your own solid curricula. Parents do that. They just lift what we do in the mastermind, they apply it, and they create their own system at home from what we do. That way you are reinforcing and you are extending what the children are learning and doing with us in the mastermind circle. It's such a win-win-win, program that we have right there in the mastermind circle. Okay, it's our yearly subscription program. So your child enrolls and we work with the child for an entire year. We have children that have been with us in the mastermind circle for 3 years. Every year we get on track and then we start all over again. And these children are growing, they are getting transformed, and they are becoming wholesome. I mean, if I tell you the testimonial about my children who are 12 and 13 in the mastermind, you will be amazed, at how much we have done or how much we have achieved with these children. Give me a second, please. Sorry about that. My husband was calling and I needed someone to get it. All right. All right, so let's get to it. So when you do this, your children are growing, your children are becoming. Exactly. Thank you, Kalista. All right, the next thing is you want to create a system where you're constantly encouraging your children. And yes, parents, there's nothing wrong with prompting your children. Let's not set our children up for failure. All right, so create a system in your home where you set prompts or you give your children prompts. I'll give you an example. Today the children had children's Independence Day celebration in school. And so we had to go to school. Daddy, I mean, the whole family, we went to school. That's part of you creating that bonding and connection and all of that. Daddy was busy. He had work to go to. He had to be at work at 9. But hey, today it is what it is. And so he had to make that commitment. So it's part of it. All right. So we had to go. And before we went, we just simply said to the children, all right, so it's traditional. There's going to be all kinds of meals and there are going to be all kinds of things to buy in school. And then we said to them, this is how much is available to you to use. And yes, and that's all that you're going to get. All right. So basically, we've prompted them. There is no coming to I beg up and down the place and all of that. There's enough to eat, right? That we have provided for, right? We and other parents, have provided for. But the school also said that there will be cuts and there will be, options for you to buy things and all of that. And you know how children may not even need to eat these things because there's food that we have all prepared and we brought. But then again, you see children bouncing back and forth, asking for this and asking for that simply. So we just establish what it is that is accepted, and all of that. Now, on our way, before I started this session, our children wind down from 7 p.m. All right, 7 p.m. They would have finished by now. I'm sure they finished cooking. All right, they're in the kitchen. They were in the kitchen before I got on the session. All right, and then at 7 p.m. they should have finished cooking, and then they go to have their bath at 7 p.m. All right. So before I started this class, I said to them, what's next on your routine? And the both of them said to me, bathing. What time? 7. And that's it. And we've moved on. So what I have done is I have allowed them to remind themselves of what they need to do next. Okay. And I, of course, not set them up for failure, because sometimes you could just leave it and the children don't do it and then you get upset. Now, it's not like you will do this every time. But if your children are not there yet, or on a day that you can tell that they are very excited, on a day that you can tell that they are, they're doing other things that are distracting them, you want to create that prompt. Our children don't watch TV throughout the week, but they watch TV on public holidays and during the weekend. Of course, so I know that immediately they finish cooking, it's possible that someone gets carried away, right? Playing PlayStation, my son, PlayStation, or my daughter reading a book or something. It's very possible that they'll get carried away. They've had an exciting day, and all of that. It's very possible that somewhere in their head, that excitement is still all over the place, and I've been hearing how they've been having fun and making so much noise around the house. So chances are they may get distracted with their cousin and then they will not do what they have to do. So what do? I drop the prompts and I go to work. So it's okay. So create encouragement and prompts for your children. Now, when I'm done with this class and I go out and they finish cooking, they've had their bath, and I'm like, oh, awesome. Well done, guys. I see that I would encourage them, right? I would see them, I would catch them doing good. Because a lot of times what we do is we catch our children doing wrong. We don't catch them doing good. We allow the good things that they do slide, but every time they make mistakes, we catch that one. So you need to start catching them doing well, as good, as well as catching them. If you are catching them always when they do wrong, then you have to learn to catch them doing good. So for every one time that you catch them doing bad, try to catch them doing good 3 times. Emphasize on them doing good at least 3 times before you emphasize on them doing bad one time. If not, before you know it, you will find out that you are constantly judging your children. And the moment you keep judging someone over and over again, it is a human thing. The person doesn't feel connected, the person feels harassed, the person feels judged. And of course, it's not easy to connect with someone who is constantly judging you. I always say to parents, if you want to understand how you make your child feel, all right, by the way or the system that you have put in place, right, to help them do the right thing, or right, yes, if you want to know how that makes them feel, think about your boss. Just think about someone who is ahead of you. Think of yourself in that situation where you were the subordinate and you had a boss. Now, that boss that is constantly catching you doing wrong, constantly complaining about you doing wrong, that boss that there is nothing that you can do that the boss will not put a microscope under, trying to sieve and practically saying to you, you are likely lying. You realize that that boss to you becomes overbearing. And that's the boss that you hardly connect with, right? Because it puts you on the edge. It's the same relationship, dear parents, with our children. The moment you are constantly catching them doing wrong, not encouraging, not prompting, not interested in them doing well, but rather interested in seeing whether they will do the right thing. When you do that, you're actually setting them up because you want to see whether they will do it or what they will fail it. Okay, there is no need. All right, what I'm saying, there are times that you step away and let them be independent. But more than that, you want to ensure that you prompt them, you encourage them, and all of that. All right, so these are small things that you can do. So, what am I saying? You have come back home, you come back home at 7 o'clock, catch them doing the right thing. How far? Have you done your homework? Yes. Awesome. Just look at you. I like how disciplined you are, that you know when to do the right thing and then you do it without someone telling you. That is you encouraging the child. Okay. Oh, you walk in and everywhere looks clean. Oh, look at my super. You don't just encourage them, catch the things that they do right. When you do that, that alone is enough to make the child want to do it the next day. Who doesn't like being praised? Okay, so catch them. If you see 3 good things, then you can now voice out the one that they did not do right. It works like that. All right. So the next one is having an accountability system. Yes, parents, make demands of your children, have expectations of your children. Parents who do not have expectations of their children do not hold their children accountable to anything because you did not set expectations in the first place. So, yes, you may be that parent who is offshore and onshore. You may be that parent who comes home every 1 week or every 2 weeks because that is what your job entails for now. All right. Maybe one of the parents has to do that. All right. We would rather you are all together, but we would not come here and act like we don't know that these things happen. So, yes, if this is the case, then you can still make it count. As I said, we already talked about those traditions and those routines you can have to be present enough. You can also have expectations. This is what I expect at the end of the week. This is what I expect of you. All right. For instance, your child, they have all these reward systems in school these days, that they have star of the week and this one and all of that. You can actually have the child set goals for themselves around those things. All right, so how many of those badges do you want to get this term? And the child goes like, okay, I'm thinking five, right? What weeks? One every month? Yes. So that's an expectation that you have. And so in your conversation, find out from them, how did that go? Did you achieve it? Did you not achieve it? And all of that. All right, do that. In the mastermind circle, we have the children set goals for themselves when they come into the circle. Now, when they come into the circle, our 6-year-olds, yes, our 6-year-olds, our 9-year-old, 12, 13-year-olds set goals for themselves. Now, what have we done? We have allowed them to set expectations for themselves. We have allowed them to set goals for themselves. And so we don't just leave them them with those goals. Now that they've set the goals, what do? We work with them to create plans to achieve those goals. We create plans with them to achieve those goals, and then we help them create those plans in a way that the goals become daily activities that you will do to achieve those goals. And you know something? Then I position myself as the matron and I hold them accountable. That's what we do. We hold them accountable. At the end of the week, we're able to say to them, this is how much you did. This is how much you did. You said you would do this, but then again, you did it only 1/7 or do it only 2/. We hold them that accountable. In fact, a parent sent me a message 2 days ago and she said, please, I hope the system will come. I mean, I hope we get the report this week again because I can see it's keeping them on their toes. All right. So when we have expectations, when children know that there are expectations we have of them. Now, parents, there is a thin line between those expectations, all right, and you having demanding of your child certain ambitious expectations of your child. Remember, I said the children are the ones, always put the children to be the ones to create those goals for themselves. You have the things that you want them to achieve. Have conversations with them. Have conversations with them and allow them set the goals based on what they think that they can achieve. And there is a way, even as a parent, that you can stretch those achieve. I mean, stretch, what it is that they can do. All right, for the child that is limited or is still has a limiting mindset, you can come in there in your very nice, supportive, an encouraging way and let the child know that you can. You can. I know that you can. Do it in a way that at the end of the day, the child believes in your encouragement and believes in how much belief you have in them. To the point that the child is able to say, you know something, I'm ready. I'm going to set bigger goals. And the child is able to set those goals. I do that with the children in the mastermind. When they set goals, they set one goal. The next thing I say to them is, oh, awesome, beautiful goal you have there. But I know your capacity. I know how much you carry. And I know that you can add one more to that goal. How about that? Think about it and think of one more thing that you can do in that area. And boom, my children will go and think and then they will give me one more or give me two more. Why? Because I have motivated. Remember, I'm a child motivator and support expert. All right. So because you have encouraged, so you have done it in a way that it's not about you, it's about them. When it's about the person, people are willing, even for adults. Remember, our children are just smaller versions of us. They are not anything less. They are full human beings like us. They are just in smaller bodies in the meantime. So the same things that get you upset, the same things that pump you up, the same things that encourage you are the same things. They apply to these children also. So when you are working with them, please treat them like people who are exactly like you. All right? Treat them. You will be amazed that, I don't know, you'll be amazed that your 10-year-old or 12-year-old can actually reason at a level that even some of the people that you work with in your office cannot reason. I don't know about you. I'm talking about the children that I work with in the mastermind circle. I don't joke with those children because I know that I'm not working with smallies. My 12-year-old in the mastermind circle will engage you. And I'm talking about children who come in as junior partners and then move to the senior partners. The moment the child moves, because of the people who are already there on ground, in 1 month, your child will start thinking in a way that even you will be like, oh, give me, what's going on here? See, it's a transformation ground. It's not bragging. We know this. It's a transformation ground. And children just need to be in a company of children who think great, children who think big, and children who do big. And the child begins to see themselves as that big also. All right. So that's it. So talk to your children and, have conversations with your children like they can understand what you're talking about. You will be amazed that your 12, 13-year-old can operate at a level that even the young people you work with in your office are not even thinking. I tell you, these children, don't underestimate them. All right, so let's go on. The next thing is you want to model consistency. Consistency is, we say repetition is the mother of all learning. All right, when you repeat and you are consistent. So that's why we say create a routine around these things, create traditions around these things. it is just 15 minutes, sorry, 30 minutes that you have for your children. Make that 30 minutes consistent. Remember, your child is going to be anticipating those 30 minutes, is going to be anticipating that time with you. Now, do not come with excuses. All right, do not come with excuses. Today, this session is supposed to be at 1 p.m. today, but the children were going to have their school, I mean, the school independence in school, right? And I didn't want a recorded, I didn't want to create a recording, right, and give you a recorded version of this class. I wanted to have real conversations, because of the topics or this topic that we're going to be working on throughout this month. So because of that, I had the chance or the choice to leave this week out and do this next week, or just move the time. And I looked at it, I'm like, we can do this in the evening. Most times we try not to do much, right? We try not to do much in the evening because that's the time we spend with the children. That's the time I spend with the children and all of that. But then again, if this is what we need to do to be consistent, if this is what we need to do, right, to teach and show the children consistency, why not? All right. So this is not just me showing up for you. This is also me showing the children what it means to be consistent. We came back tired, everybody tired, knackered, and all of that. And they went to sleep and all that. And so when I said to my son, you need to set up for me and all of that, he's like, oh, you're having a class today again? I mean, you're going to have a class even after, how hectic the day was. Why not? All right. Why not? Apart from that, I even have a mentor that will go 5 days and still show up. Why not? So you need to mentor your children that way too. Show up for them. Let them know, right, that showing up is a part of the deal. Hi, Amina, how are you doing? All right, see, my mentor, my mastermind parents are here. All right, so thank you very much. We're moving. So the next one is build a trusted support system. Build a trusted support system, around you. Let your children know. Build it together. Point them to read together. Let your children know who your trusted support system, and this trusted support system can be your family. It's your grandma, it's your grandma, it's your sisters, your brothers. So it could be your immediate family, it could be your friends, and it could be all of these ones. And so your friends could be. So that's why it is part of the whole program or part of the whole system that when you are making friends, you have children, please build friendships that can be a legacy for your children. Friends that you can turn to and they can sort you out. Friends that when you are not there, your children can turn to them easily and be supported. Friends that when you are not around, and ensure that those friends are friends who are walking the journey that you're walking and your belief system are close or are the same. Do you understand? Your values can align, basically. All right. Friends that there is mutual respect for your individuality, and yes, your values are similar. So that when your children have to turn to them, they are turning to people whose values are not far or whose values are similar. There's nothing to worry about, basically. People that you can live with your children with and you are comfortable. All right, so do that. So that's why whatever system it is that you are believing in and you are working with, that you are building yourself, you need to introduce your children, your friends, your family members to such systems. I belong to an accountability group and I'm introducing everyone around me to that accountability group. So basically, right, when you belong to that kind of group, TIP inner circle, that's one I belong to, and I introduce everybody around me there. Why? So that you're learning what I am learning. But then again, I always say to parents, it is one thing that you are learning. You want to also introduce your children in a system where they can find their own tribe, where they can find people like them, where they can find people who sound like them. Why are we doing this? Because in the school system and in the secular system out there, you realize that children hardly find people who sound like them, especially if you're a parent who is walking this intentional journey, you are that parent, you are saying to your 14, I have an almost 15-year-old child. My almost 15-year-old child, I'm saying to him, you can't use a phone and all of that. This is strange to the people that he meets in school because everybody has got a phone. They cannot get it. They cannot wrap it around their head that you don't have access to Snapchat. You don't have access to all of these things. And so a lot of the times, it's as if you are weird. You're really weird because you don't do all of these things that all of them are doing. All right. So if you leave your children like that, if you're walking all of this journey with your children, right, building and raising your children in a certain way, all right, with certain values, and you don't help them find a tribe of children who are like them so that they can sound like them, and they see, oh, there are people who sound like me, people who understand these things that my parents are saying, people who even do more than I do, or their own is even extra than what my parents are saying. If you don't do this, then you will raise children who feel isolated, because now your children are with people who who make them feel like there's something wrong with them, who make them feel like, I beg you, who does that in this world today, and all of that. And the child feels like every other person is different from him. You will isolate your child. So find a community also. That's why we say, bring them to the mastermind circle. You have children between 6 and 13. Bring them to the mastermind circle so they are in a community of children who are like them. All right. Apart from that, it's a solid foundation ground where your children will begin to know and understand the why behind a lot of the things that you say to them. Because many times, right, you would only bring them to us because you can tell that our system and our values are in sync with yours, all right, and it's something that you want your child to grow in, all right. So in that way, you will realize that what we're teaching your child is helping your child understand what you have been saying even more, and that's where your child is building his own tribe, his own community. So parents, don't just walk this journey alone, all right. Yes, goals for time. Yes. So don't just walk your journey alone. As you are walking and building yourself, ensure that you put your children in communities, right, where they are also working and building themselves. These are small things that you can do that can make your efforts lead your children to more wins. All right. So the next one we're talking about is incorporate learning into your daily activities. Incorporate learning into your daily task. So whatever it is that you do, all right? So those 30 minutes that you have come in, and doesn't mean that those 30 minutes will mean your children coming to sit down and you people gisting and talking every time, all right? Don't do that. Let it not just be every time talking. Sometimes it's just an activity that you're going to be doing together, all right? It could just simply be, oh, they're getting set. Or what time have you got set for school tomorrow? No. Okay, let me join you. Let's do that together. While you are doing that, you are showing the child, you are modeling to the child the right way to get their singlets, get their boxers, how to hang it, and all of that. You're doing it together. Remember, you're the one that says, oh, have you packed for school tomorrow? No. Okay, I'll join you. So that 30 minutes for a particular day could just be you working with the child or helping the child to set up. Now, if your child's love language is what? Acts of kindness, that is it. You will be speaking the child's love language. So in all of this, in the challenge that we are going to be doing, all right, in our challenge, that challenge is going to be driven by your child's by love language and learning style. All right, so in all of the activities, we'll be incorporating love language, learning styles, and so we will be having you do a 40-minute activity every day with your child that is focused on their learning styles, love language, and you showing up consistently for the period of the challenge. All right. By the end of the challenge, you would have built a solid relationship with your child, and then you would have created a pattern of supporting your child. And it's really fun when you do those challenges with us, all right, because for the period of the challenge, you are all excited. So from time to time, you want to put in that, infuse some excitement in your activity with your children. Infuse that. So it brings expectations. As I said, expectations will actually trigger that spark for your children to be curious and to do more. Expectation also sparks up, motivation, basically. So that's why you want to get into challenges every now and then. As I said, our challenges are always affordable. So yes, it's chinkini money. You just come in, we'll have fun, for the period of the challenge. All right. So the next one you want to do is, or the last one is, encourage independence. All right. In all of these, encourage independence in the child. So when you set those small goals, all right, you are encouraging independence. All right. Now it could be that for the 30 minutes that you're spending with the child, you could tell the child, before you before you come in, you can actually, before you left leave in the morning, you can actually set a goal or say something that the child is supposed to do on their own, and then you would work on it together when you come back. All right, so that could be it. Set a task for the child to do, and then you can work on it together when you get back. That is also a way to do it. So that way, you are allowing the child be independent, and so you are also creating time to do something together with the child. All right, so these are ways, right? These are ways that you can actually do make small efforts that can help your child win. Small effort, 30 minutes every day, and your child is going to be winning. In that challenge, we will put in practical, we will put in the activities based on your child's love language. So we will spend the first few weeks, few days in the challenge, helping you understand your child's learning style. So the activities that we'll have will help you. You will help your child pop, your child's learning style will pop before your eyes based on the activities. So the activities that we do, as your child goes through the activities and you pay attention, you will see what part or which activities your child is more drawn. And that way it will help you understand what kind of learner your child is. And then based on that, we will have, subsequent weeks where the activities that you do, you will have how you will go about it for your kinesthetic learner, for your visual learner, for your read and write learner, and all of that, and your auditory learners. We're going to be putting that. And then your child's love language also. The activities are going to like prompt, all of that love language to come out. It's going to be such an amazing time. All right. So the last part of what we're going to do today, I'm going to go through 10 opportunities, or 10 times that you can, opportunities more like, that you can use to fit in this your 30 minutes, all right, that you can show up for your child, 30 or 40 minutes. Okay, one of them is your morning routine. You can use your morning routine to talk about your child's plan for the day. So during the morning routines, while you're getting set for work, or getting set for, whatever, the child is getting set for school and all of that, you can use that time to actually talk about their plans for the day. Oh, while you're working, okay, let me give you an instance. All right. An instance could be that you're fixing breakfast together, maybe. Okay, you're trying to fix breakfast together, you're in the kitchen, and then you can actually go, oh, so what's the plan for today? What are the 5 things? In the mastermind, the children have 5 things that they do every day, important things that they do every day. So what are the things that you plan to do today? And that way you get your child into that space where the child is already thinking, what am I doing today? It could be something that the child did yesterday that the child is supposed to carry forth to the next day. And then you spark that conversation during your morning routine. Right, during the morning routine. It could be that the child is dressing up. Usually you will help them with their ties, or you just pop into the room while they're dressing up, and then you have a conversation, right? You have a conversation that time. It could be during prayer time. You're done with your prayers, and after that, you can just chip in reminder about your values. All right. So these are teachable moments. These are times that you can get that your 30 minutes out of the way. It could be that for a particular day, you could use the morning routine. All right. The next one is during your breakfast. During breakfast, we do that so much at home here. All right. So our children in the mastermind circle, the children have affirmations every morning. So it's during breakfast, we sit together and we have those affirmations. I'm sitting with them while they're having breakfast, and we have the affirmations while they are having breakfast. They have the affirmations while and then they listen to their tool. They listen to the tool, and then we have a little conversation about the tool. Okay, how do you intend to achieve this? How do you intend to do this? The phone is right there, the tool goes, they listen, and sometimes we have quick conversation about this before they go. You have bonded with the child, you spend some time with the child, and all of that. Another time is the period of commuting. the period where you commute. At some time point, I realized daddy was always busy. He was always hardly there. He can pick them, from school because he's right at work, at that time. And I started thinking, what's the best time? It was beginning to have less and less time with them. All right. And I thought I needed to create a whole at least 20 to 30 minutes that they can actually be with daddy. I mean, be with their dad just there. And so we incorporated, daddy and I had to come up with a system where he takes the children to school in the morning and I pick them up from school after school. So that way they get to bond. And so we decided morning prayers was going to be with him on the way to school. So morning prayers is usually with him on the way to school. So they get in, and as soon as they get into the car, as they're driving out, they start saying. Apart from that, the children in our home, we pray individually in the morning. So in the morning, prayers are individually. So their devotions done in the morning, and all of that. We have a system where they finish dressing up, they come in, and they come to the living room with with their devotionals and their Bible, and then they sit there. They have their morning prayers and morning devotional by themselves, before it's time for breakfast and all of that. So we do that, and then of course in the evening we can have that whole you know family devotional and all of that. So yes, they get to pray with their dad. So that was a way of creating a system for that to happen, right? For them to bond, with their dad for that 20 minutes ride that it takes them, 20 thereabout minutes that it takes them to school. Now there are days that I really want to pray with them in the morning, and all I need to do is just get up and get my morning routines out of the way early, and I jump in the car and do the ride with them to school together. All right, so that's it. That's a very great way to find that time. Another time is while you are doing chores together, while you are cooking. We do this one a lot when we're cooking. So the days I decide to cook, right? Or the days I decide to cook with them together, right? It's a lot of conversation and a lot of, bonding, what happened in school. And then we talk about those things, we laugh, and all of that. Daddy cooks on Sundays. And during those Sundays time is a great Sunday brunch. That's what we call it after church. Their dad cooks on Sunday for us. And those times they get in there and we're gisting, having conversations, and it's reason for laughter and all of that. Very, very key. Another time is after school, during after school snack. All right. So if you're the parent who drops them off, you pick them from school and you drop them off and you have to go back to school. You can go back to work. You can come in and then have a snack with them after school. So they get in, wash their hands, and then you sit down and have a snack together, and you can do something or talk about something while you're doing that, snack time. And then after that, you go. Okay. I listened to what was that? Okay, it was CIP conference where Bishop Febi Dahosa talked about how their dad came home every lunchtime to have lunch with them. And then after that lunch, he goes back to work. So that was a tradition that he put right there. That was a system that he created right there. All right. It could also be at bedtime. It could be at bedtime, and this could be bedtime stories. You connect during bedtime stories and then use that time as a connection time. The next time could be while you are cooking. Amazing time that you can do this together. All right, before bed, and then an amazing time is during the weekend errands. All right. At some point when our son was growing up, I had to push him to his dad. And so when daddy is running errands during the weekend, they run the errands together. All right. And that became a tradition where they go to the laundry together, they shop for, weekend supplies together, and all of that. And it became a thing for the two of them, and something that our son always looked forward to. And it's coming in so handy right now that he's a full teenager. So they get to talk about a lot, and they get to talk about all kinds of things, from building to architecture to general life, knowledge and politics, and all of those great things, just him and his dad. Amazing. And then it could be when you go for exercise. All right. So when you have those weekend exercise together, weekend walks together, you could use that time also. So these are times that you can use to do that little, that can make a difference for your child. All right. So good, 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 good. I hope you have learned a lot in this session and you're getting set for the challenge. We're going to have an amazing time in that challenge. So just keep it locked here. Pay attention. And as soon as it drops, I need you to jump in. Let's have some more fun. All right. How to support our children. All right. It's all about knowing how to support our children to excel in the classroom and outside the classroom. We're going to put a challenge together that we are going to do all of this activity together, right? And get ourselves into that space where we now know how to support our children effectively and how to create accelerated learning for our children just because now we know. I've talked a lot about the mastermind circle. And so, yes, if you have a child between 6 and 10, and 13, and you want them to be a part of the mastermind circle, then yes, we have the information right on your screen right now. I need you to take that information. We just started a new cohort this month. And so we are still creating goals and all of that. Your child can still jump in and be a part of the mastermind program right now. It's such a vibrant community and a robust system. Your child will be transformed in the mastermind circle, I dare say. All right, so you have the information right there on your screen. You can also check the description and in the comment section to join us in the mastermind circle. All right, your child will be blessed and you will be glad you did join us in the mastermind circle. We have amazing resources also. We create resources for young children because we want children to grow and to learn. All right. You can also create time where you read books with your children. It's part of it. In those 30 minutes you have, you can lock it in one particular day where you share a book together. And our books are amazing for that purpose. We have Unlocking Excellence. It's an amazing, amazing book. It's on Amazon. You can get it from our seller store and you can buy hard copies from us. You can get paperback and Kindle copies on Amazon, and you can reach out if you're in Nigeria and order for it and pick your copy from any of our pickup points around the country. All right. If you want us to send it to you directly, it is doable. We have this amazing new book that I wrote a few months ago, and it is Destined for Greatness. Such an amazing, amazing resource for your 7-year-old to 14-year-olds. Okay. We have Young and Money Smart. You want your child to get this book in their hand. It will change their mindset about money. We have Wisdom Stories for Champions. This is about family traditions, getting children to, understand the place of family, creating those traditions, those routines. Beautiful, beautiful book you have there. We also have Christmas Stories for Champions. This one is a legacy where we talk about what Christmas was like for us growing up, right? In the north, the south, the eastern part of the country. All of my books, quality, top notch, beautiful publications that we have. We have the Playtime Stories for Champions. You've heard me say many times, play is the work of your child. Play is work for children. So yes, get your child playing right. Get them learning while at it. And yes, Bedtime Stories for Champions. Beautiful, beautiful book where children begin to learn how to be more, how to impact people even from an early age. Beautiful. And we have our only 2 parenting books, right? 2 parenting books for you parents, especially if you're a parent of young children. So this one is to write all those beautiful notes and record all the amazing things happening in the life of your children. We have over 12 templates that can help you create and build a family plan for your children right here. All right. And we have Mentor Parents. I have put a memo of my journey, all right, in my children's first 10 years, right? My first 10 years of parenting. I mean, how as a rookie parent, I had to navigate to find my way around being that supportive parent to our first child. All right, so yes, you can get copies of this on Amazon. You can get them on our from our seller store, and you can get physical copies of this. Thank you for joining me for the Skill Up Show. If you got value from this session, let us know in the comment section that you did get value. If you're catching the replay, let us know that you were here and that you got value from the session. If you'd like to be a part of the Mastermind Circle, hit us up on 0813062156 or use the information that you have on your screen to join the Mastermind Circle. Enroll your child for the Mastermind Circle. And yes, look out for the challenge. It's going to be affordable and it's going to be so much fun. Have a fantastic day, dear parents, and thank you for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye for now. All right, so it's Coach Mary back, and I'm signing out. Bye.